International student numbers crash. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's look at this article from ABC News, which is discussing international students. So they still inquire at an English language school, but JobKeeper and spells job losses. So, well, we'll have to see how this business is going to keep going. You'll find more and more businesses are just being propped up by JobKeeper. You know, are they viable? Do we want to be investing money into these businesses through no fault of their own? I understand, but that's how life happens sometimes. So, Renan Matchesini and his wife flew to the Gold Coast on the 1st of March 2020, just 19 days before Australia would close its borders to non-citizens, and in turn crippled a $37.5 billion education industry dependent on international students. 1 year later, the former Sao Paulo bank manager said it was a totally different time in our life. I made my stopover in LA, and these things were getting crazy, he said. I said to my wife, this is really serious, we should take care. He is now one of 18 students studying at the Inforum Language School in Southport. Why is he going to Southport of all places to study? I guess, you know. But when he first enrolled, more than a year ago, he was one of 300. So there's a 94% drop in business. Simon Kraft has been the managing director of Informa Education for 14 years and has seen enrollments drop by 94% during the pandemic. He said only half of his usual 35-strong workforce remained employed. Everyone is on JobKeeper, Mr. Kraft said. With JobKeeper wrapping up from the 28th of March, it doesn't leave us with much option. We'll have to let at least another 5 or 6 staff go. You may need to let more than that go, mate, if you're sitting on 94% crash in employment or in demand for your business. You've got to pivot. According to research from the Mitchell Institute, 37,333 international students left Queensland between March and October last year, while nationwide applications for student visas collapsed by an estimated 80 to 90%. I mean, do people think this is simply going to rebound? Should the government be incurring debt for future generations to support these businesses until international students come back? That's the question. Would you be happy if you're in that business? Would you be happy for others to be paying the burden to keep you going? Modeling in the report concluded that without major change, only 290,000 international students will be living in Australia by July 2021. Down from 578,000 in October 2019. I mean, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be more calls to open the borders, more push to bring international students here because it props up this entire industry, which is a big one. It props up a lot of property too. So there's going to be political will to bring in the students. Will they want to come? If international borders were to remain shut until July 2022, it was estimated that figure would drop to further to 165,000. We don't expect the borders to be reopened tomorrow. We know the risks, Mr. Kraft said. But without the government having a plan or letting us know how and when they're going to open the international border, we can't plan at all. Well, that's the problem, guys. This is what our political leaders have shown. They will intervene and shut the economy at the drop of a hat. Hopes for border reopening depend on vaccines. Recent government figures showed that in early March, around 374,000 primary student visa holders remained in Australia, delivering a $9 billion economic hit, according to the International Education Association. The Mitchell Institute estimates the international education represents $37.5 billion worth of annual revenue to the economy, with 57% or $21.4 billion associated with goods and services spent in the wider economy. Last week, New South Wales Treasurer Dominic Perriotti proposed prioritising flights for some international students over Australians to help the education sector recover. I mean, that I can understand why, but the optics of that is horrific. Horrific. People that come to spend money are more important than your own citizens. Does that make you proud to be Australian? That's what politicians are suggesting. Queensland has suggested building a regional quarantine facility near Toowoomba to allow more people to fly into Australia. Hey, might be some work for Toowoomba, guys. In November 2020, a charter flight carrying 63 international students landed in Darwin, which the students paid for themselves, while Charles Darwin University paid for their quarantine. But the pilot program has not been widely adopted. The federal government has not provided a definite timeline for the reopening of international borders, but has suggested late 2021 or early 2022. When you're dealing with the pandemic, you can't have a perfect crystal ball, Trade, Tourism and Investment Minister Dan Tehan said on the Gold Coast last week. We'll see how the vaccine rollout is taking place across the globe. Hopefully, we'll have the international borders open by the start of next year fully. So 1 million worth of demand. Mr. Kraft said that without an extension of JobKeeper or a definite timeline on borders, it was not clear how long his business would survive. During the COVID period, we've still received in the order of about $1 million worth of applications from students, he said. But of course, these students aren't going to pay until the government says something about when they're going to reopen the borders. We were all viable, profitable businesses before the government shut the international borders. Yes, that's the sovereign risk of doing business in Australia, where governments are able to close the borders at a whim. That's it, everyone. This is the power that you've given them. And the problem is, what worries me more about all of this is there are going to be future calls for this same level of intervention. That's what worries me. So now this is an inherent risk of business. So then are we going to get businesses that are just expecting the government to come and support them during these periods? Or should we take legal action against the government, which probably would be completely fruitless, to try and restrain their ability to make these calls? Or do people want it? How many people have had no economic consequences of these lockdowns, of these restrictions? And they feel safe. They keep voting in these politicians, everyone. Look at WA. While Mr. Kraft was determined to hang in there, he said the loss of international students, many of whom work in hospitality or seasonal fruit picking, had wider economic consequences. A lot of them end up settling here. They start their own businesses, he said. They have to work really, really hard. They have to pay a lot of money in application fees if they want to stay on and apply for permanent residency. While he's taken up as a chef and cleaner, Renan said he is not sure how long he will stay in Australia, but that it's been a good year for him. We're in a safe place from COVID. I can't imagine if I lived in Brazil at the moment how my life would be, he said. So there we have it, everyone. International student numbers continue to be lower. Calls to fly them in to support this industry. What do you reckon? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comment down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.